Advantage Deadpool FC this past weekend as they took full advantage over Wycombe Wanderers into the top 2 spots. That's right. But can Wycombe Wanderers bounce back? They've got a double match week. Can they get back into the top 2? We'll take a little look next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. Today is all about match number 38. That's right, as we look forward to the return of League One. Of course, we'll get to that in a minute. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe and you want to subscribe for League One, Blackpool Rovers, World Football. We're going to all hear under one rooski. That's right, of course, international games are taking place across the world, which of course has caused some disruption to League One. So there's only a handful of games, but I thought I'd bring you back up to date with that and much more in a second. Of course, if you know where you've been, hit the old subscribe. You want to subscribe for League One is right here. Yeah, right here. Of course, big shout out to the patrons and the members. You know who you are. So what we're going to do now, though, is revisit those games this past weekend, show you the table, and look forward to this weekend's drama. So sit tight, hold on. Let's get into it. All right then, folks, these were the games last time around. And, of course, as you see it, Stockport County, big, massive, humongous win for them over Bolton to put themselves into the driving seat. Meanwhile, Cambridge lost, of course, under Neil Harris. I went the other way. I went with the one with Cambridge. Peterborough, though, back to continuing a recent run of form. Leyton Orient also picked up a 2-1 win over Blackpool. Massive win for them to get themselves back in contention for the playoffs. Charlton looked destined for playoffs with a 2-1 win over Wigan. Huddersfield Town, of course, managers Huddersfield Town with a big 5-1 win over Crawley. Lincoln also put 5 past Bristol Rovers. To give themselves a bit kick up the arse. Mansfield Town 2-1 winners over managerless Barnsley. Drop points there for Birmingham City. Of course, they're on cruise control. They can afford to do that. But just a 1-1 draw against Northampton Town. Reading and Stevenage also took it out to a 1-1 draw, as did Rotherham and Exeter. Burton with a massive 2-0 win over Shrewsbury to boost their relegation hopes. And of course, the big one down there, Wrexham with a 1-0 win over Wycombe to make it possibly 3 promotions on the spin. We'll take a look at that right here, right now. As you can see at the table, looks a little bit like this. It is Birmingham. It is Wrexham. Wycombe do have a game in hand. Of course, we'll talk about that. That's, of course, midweek, as well as the game on, the weekend. Meanwhile, of course, Charlton. I would not rule out Charlton. They might be a gatecrasher themselves. They might make a last-minute storm into that top 2 because they are firing all cylinders at the moment. Stockport in there, Huddersfield Town keep themselves in the mixer as well. Going down, it is Shrewsbury, it is Cambridge, it is Crawley. Burton have still got work to do. There's still 6 points adrift. And again, with a busy all week up ahead. So let's get into it, of course, and take a look at the next round of games. Now, these are those on record. Now, some of them not taking place, some of them will take place. I think there's 6 of this taking place, and we'll get to those in a minute. But there is a game in midweek. We're going to gloss over it, of course. It's a catch-up game. It's Rotherham against Wycombe. Of course, Rotherham not doing the best at the moment in the table. Of course, they are nowhere in none of the discussions. Not in relegation, not in promotion stakes. So they're pretty much as you were, really. Up against a Wycombe side who, of course, need to win and bounce back. I just don't think it's working as swift or as planned under Mike Dodds, or what his name is, Doddsy, whatever, the governor at the moment over at Wycombe Wanderers. Taking over from Bloomfield, who of course has not really landed on his feet at Luton, but that's a story for another day. I think this one's going to be a draw between Rotherham and Wycombe midweek. A lot of focuses on the international games going on around the place, so not much expectation on this game. So I think it will go under the radar. A bit of a damn squib, 1-1 in the end. So what we're going to do now, though, is of course look forward to those next round of games. Now, I do have, according to my data, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But I believe only 6 will go ahead. So it says Stevenage against Birmingham. That game is being postponed, of course, so that'll be, of course, another day. But if it was to be played today, I would have went with a 2-0 win for Birmingham over Stevenage. But we'll come back to that another time. So next up, we got up Barnsley. We got Cambridge. That match is scheduled to take place on Saturday, the 22nd of March. Of course, Barnsley under Conor Hoonahane at the moment. Who's going to be the new coach, of course, in there? A lot of names banded about. Of course, Paul Warne, I think, is heavily linked with Barnsley. That'll be a good one. 3 defeats on the spin for Barnsley right now. They're 10th right now, 52 points for the season up against Cambridge and Neil Harris. 4 defeats on the spin. They're 23rd in the table, 29 points. They played Barnsley 5 times in 2022. 3 wins. Barnsley, 1 win for Cambridge. There's been 1 draw between these two sides. Last time around, of course, at Barnsley, it was a 2-0 win for Cambridge way back in March 2024. The reverse fixture, a 1-1 draw way back in November. That was at Cambridge. Cambridge, though, picking up a 1-0 loss to Peterborough. They've made it 3 defeats on the spin. Up against Barnsley, though, Also, 3 defeats on the spin, looking grim stuff. But hopefully back at home, maybe a chance for them to get a win under their belts against the struggling Cambridge United side. Bookies will go with Barnsley, no matter who's in charge here. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for them to hopefully get themselves back in the mixer for promotion. Let's kick it off with Burton up against Wigan, and what should be on the agenda, but it isn't. I don't see it anywhere, so I do believe this game is not going to go ahead. But I probably would have backed Burton to get something out of this against the Wigan under Ryan Lowe right now. Of course, he's now at the helm at Wigan. Meanwhile, Crawley, they're taking on Bristol Rovers. 2 sides who got absolutely battered this past week. They're looking to response for them. Crawley, though, under Rob Elliott, they are struggling, 22nd in the table, 30 points for the season. They've lost 5 of the last 6 and winless in their last 8 matches. Bristol Rovers under Igno Calderon, they were on a good bit of form of late, but they do come into this on the back of a heavy defeat. They sit 20th with 42 points. Now, they played Crawley 14 times since 2011. 4 wins Crawley, 6 wins Bristol Rovers, 4 draws, of course. Last time around over at Crawley, it was in the league. It was a 2-1 win for Bristol Rovers way back in March 2022 in League 2. Bristol Rovers coming out on top. Last time they played, though, when did they play? They last played at Bristol Rovers as a 0-0 draw back in November this season. Of course, Crawley on the back of that 5-1 stuffing by Huddersfield. Bristol Rovers also on the back of a 5-0 stuffing themselves by Lincoln this time around. So both sides need a response, and fast. The bookies, they give it to Crawley on this one. I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw. Of course, we'll continue on from a recent run of form and not really bounce back themselves. Me on Lincoln City, they're taking on Exeter. Coming at you over at Central Bank. Skabula's boys are 50% form for them right now. 12 for the table, 49 points for the season. 3 wins, 3 defeats over the last 6. A little bit too much for them to do, I think, to get into the playoffs. Meanwhile, Exeter under Gary Caldwell are unbeaten in the last 5. They're on 58% form when they played. They're rocking 16th for the table, 44 points for the campaign. Now, they played each other 14 times since 2003. 3 wins Lincoln, 6 wins Exeter. There's been 5 draws between the two sides, including a draw in the reverse fixture, 0-0, way back in November 2024. Now, the last time they played at Central Bank, it was the 1-0 win for Lincoln way back in February 2024. Lincoln, though, on the back of that 5-0 demolition job of Bristol Rovers. Of course, Exeter could only pick up a point at Rotherham most recently. The odds right here right now is it's not tight. It's Lincoln, backed heavily by the bookies. I'm going with a 2-1 win as well for Skabula's boys on this one. Mansfield Town against Leyton Orient. That's right, 2 sides who were in the playoff races. Of course, Mansfield's season's kind of gone to pot. Leyton Orient, though, Richie Wellens still in there, but only just. It's not looking good at the moment. But coming at you, Mansfield are in 15th in the table, 44 points for the season. They've just lost once over the last 5. Meanwhile, the Orient under Richie Wellens, they're in 9th right now, 56 points for the season. Just 1 defeat in the last, 1 win in the last 6. They played 19 times since 2003. 3 wins Mansfield. There's been 12 wins Leyton Orient, and there's been 4 draws between the two sides. Last time around over at Mansfield, it was a 2-1 win for the Orient way back in April 2023. Now Mansfield have actually lost 3 on the spin against Orient, including the reverse fixture at Brisbane Road back in February. Mansfield, though, do pick up that 2-1 win against Barnsley most recently. The Orient the same with a 2-1 win over Blackpool. That's right. The odds right here right now, it is quite tight, but Mansfield have, of course, got the upper hand, I think, with the bookies. I'm going there as well. 1-0 winners. The Orient gone off a boil a bit. I think they'll both end up in mid-table at the end of the season. Anyway, let's kick it on forward with Northampton Town against Blackpool. That's right, Blackpool, I think it might be a bridge too far for them to get to the playoffs, but Northampton Town under Kevin Nolan doing all right, 19th in the table, 42 points for the season. Unbeaten the last 4, just 1 defeat in the last 6. Up against Blackpool under Stevie Bruce, 58% form for them as well, just 1 defeat in the last 4 as well. 11th for the table, 51 points for the campaign. They played each other 11 times since 2003. 3 wins Northampton, 6 wins Blackpool. There's been 2 draws, of course. Last time around over at Northampton Town, it was a 1-0 win for Blackpool back in March 2024. The reverse fixture at Bloomfield Road was a 0-0 draw back in November. But Northampton Town on the back of a draw themselves, 1-1 last time around. Blackpool losing to the Orient, of course, at Bloomfield Road last match out. The bookies on this one will go with Blackpool on this one, but I think Kevin Nolan's doing all right with Northampton Town, getting the grind on there. But I think they'll still lose this one. I think they'll get outfoxed in the dugout by Stevie Bruce and his boys. Meanwhile, Peterborough up against Charlton, coming over at Peterborough. Of course, Darren Ferguson's boys kicked back into form right now, 18th at the table. 42 points for the season. They've got 83% form for them right now, unbeaten in at least the last 7 matches. Up against Charlton, though, under Nathan Jones, they've won 5 of the last 6, 92% form for them. They are cooking with gas. 4th in the table, 66 points for the season. They played Peterborough 21 times since 1993. 8 wins Peterborough, 7 wins Charlton. There's been 6 draws between the two sides. Last time around, over at Peterborough, it was a 1-0 win for the Posh back in August 2023. The reverse fixture at Charlton, 2-1 win it was for Charlton back in February. Charlton, though, on the back of that 2-1 win over Wigan. Peterborough on the back of that 1-0 win over Cambridge. This was quite tight. could go either way. Bookies will give it just to Charlton. I'm going with a 2-1 win for the Posh. What am I thinking? What am I doing? Oh, yes, I'm believing. I do like Charlton. I really do. I think Peterborough will get in there. They just clicked right now, and maybe they might surge. We'll see about that. Then we have a ding-dong classic over in Wales. It is Wrexham. It is Stockport. It's coming at you on the 22nd of March. Wrexham under Phil Parkinson have won 3 of the last 4. They're second, 71 points. Up against Stockport under David Challoner, who are 5th. Just 1 defeat in the last 6. They played each other 27 times since 2003. 12 wins Wrexham, 13 wins Stockport. There's been 2 draws between the two sides. Last time around in Wales, it was a 2-1 win for Wrexham back in April 2024. That was in League 2. The reverse fixture at Stockport was a 1-0 win for Stockport. That was back in November. They've exchanged victories over the last 4 matches. In fact, it's been 3 wins, 3 defeats, of course, between the two sides over the last 6. Wrexham picking up a 1-0 win over Wycombe. Stockport with a 1-0 win over Bolton. Back-to-back clean sheets for them as well. Looking at this one, bookies will give it to Wrexham. 2-1 win. I've gone there as well, which of course will even improve their chances of the top 2. And I think that's the games. Of course, I've got 3 other ones here, but I do believe each and every one of those games are being postponed because of the international thing. But let's say I got it all wrong. Bolton taking on Rotherham. I do expect Bolton to bounce back under Schumacher. I think that'll be a big win for them. Huddersfield also will put a big number down on Wycombe because I just don't believe in the Wycombe coach. I think Huddersfield right now are firing on all cylinders in this transitional period until they get a new coach. And then Shrewsbury, Reading, going to go with a draw there if that was to take place this weekend, but it wasn't. But if all those games did take place, not including the Rotherham Wycombe one in midweek, this is what the table will look like. It'll be Birmingham, it'll be Wrexham, who have a 6-point clearance over Wycombe, again, with that game in hand, so, it might not be out as much. Wycombe will be in 3rd, Charlton, Stockport, and Huddersfield going down Shrewsbury, Cambridge, Crawley, and Burton, but still a bit of a in the middle of that pack there, a bit of season-ending sort of ness, the likes of Stevenage, Lincoln, Blackpool, and possibly even Barnsley at the moment. So, grim stuff there, but that, my friends, is what I've got. Make sure you smash your like, smash your subscribe. We'll be back. Of course, I'm bringing you back up to date with the Prediction League very, very soon. But until then, hit the old like, hit the old subscribe, and see you soon on the other side.